So I will be a medical student starting this August in Providence, Rhode Island. And my question is on student loans for medical school, which I'll be taking out in April. So as a bit of background, I will have to take out loans to cover tuition at my school. That's $67,300 per year. I'm planning on taking out federal loans, although I do not know if I want to do academic versus private medicine. I still feel like public service loan forgiveness is the way to go, no matter what I eventually decide, even if that means staying in the hospital longer. I have the money saved to cover living expenses during this time, but I will not be making a sizable income during it, besides like picking up some shifts as an EMT. I also have about $10,000 in undergraduate federal loans. My question is, if I'm planning to go for public service loan forgiveness, should I take out loans for the full cost of attendance instead of just tuition? My worry is that if for some reason public service loan forgiveness does not work out, like it gets dismantled governmentally or like the horror stories of people being denied, then I'll be stuck with hundreds of thousands of dollars more in debt versus the baseline tuition loans I have to take out. And secondary question, if I take out the cost of attendance loans, do you think that I should put the money that I've saved, to pay for living expenses in a savings account or a mutual fund? Thank you so much for any advice and everything that you do.
Well, that is the very definition of moral hazard. Okay. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with this term, this is an economic term. Okay. This has nothing to do with your morals. You're not morally deficient if you are experiencing moral hazard. All right. That's not what moral hazard is. Moral hazard is when there's kind of an unintended consequence of a policy, right? In this case, the policy is public service loan forgiveness. The intent of this policy is to help those with massive student loan burdens who have taken these very charitable jobs serving the public, but have this terrible student loan burden and help them to deal with that so they can stay in these public service kind of jobs. But what happens, right? Anytime you put in any sort of government policy, anytime you're giving out free money, which let's be honest, this is what this is, right? That's what public service loan forgiveness is. It's free money, not free because taxpayers are paying for it, but it's free money to the person getting it. It's like a big fat check for you. Anytime you're giving that out, there's going to be some unforeseen consequences. One of which is every medical student is now facing this dilemma. It used to be when you knew you were going to be paying back your student loans that you would minimize how much you take out in student loans because the less you take out, the less interest you pay, and the sooner you can pay them back later. But now with free money, at least available, assuming you comply with the terms of public service loan forgiveness, new med students are starting to wonder, maybe I should take out all the money I can get and just hold on to it or spend it on a car. A nicer car is useful in medical school. Maybe I could live in a nicer place, So a few things to think about here. One is the risk you've identified, that something happens with your career. Maybe you don't match, for instance, or something happens and you decide, I really do not want to stay in academia and I'm going someplace in my specialty. There are no PSLF jobs. Now I've got to live somewhere I don't want to live. Why did I do this? You've got that risk out there. That's definitely a possibility. The other thing to keep in mind is your contract. When you're signing these student loans, you are telling them, I'm going to use this money for school. That's what you're contracting to do when you take out a student loan. It's in the contract. So I think if you're going to sign a contract, you ought to obey the terms of that contract. Now, in your case, money's fungible. You can use the money you have in cash, or you can use the borrowed money to pay for school. It's really fungible. But for those people who are taking the money and investing it because they're borrowing more than they can even spend, you're really violating the terms of your contract and probably shouldn't do that. And then, of course, in the end, I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I think you probably shouldn't borrow money you don't need for school. So I would probably just take out what you need. I would not try to make some sort of windfall profits off the PSLF program. But it's a hard decision. I get that there's moral hazard. It's not illegal. I don't even know that it's unethical. I don't know that it's immoral. You'll have to decide that. But every medical student is now facing this dilemma, given the terms of public service loan forgiveness. So good luck with your decision. I think it's a hard one to make, and I'm sorry you have to make it. I think it's bad policy that you have to make it. But here's where we are in life, right?
The hosts of The White Coat Investor are not licensed accountants, attorneys, or financial advisors. This podcast is for your entertainment and information only. It should not be considered professional or personalized financial advice. You should consult the appropriate professional for specific advice relating to your situation.